Oh. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Annette actually has a finance report. That's my apology.
I'll go get her. Hang right on.
What we've got for a finance report. We can discuss more after we're not.
Yeah.
You know.
Basically, let them know when I come in, what can I do?
Betty, I'm beyond question. We discussed it.
I mean, I'm happy to be here, but I don't know if I get in the way or not. One thing I would like to do is,
She'll be right with you.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure.
back with some of the invoices, to make sure that they're all stamped. The other thing would be, the reconciliation. Okay. So,
And then there's, yeah, none of those have been done, and there was a significant amount that was charged to 1050, which is the jail. A line that didn't exist in the jail account, it's like 8,001. And I happened to catch it, and it's all garden related. And it's like, no, so then what I ended up doing is going to the CCA restricted reserve and transferring that money into the jail account as it should be, but it was charged, you know, in the wrong area. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry about that.
Thanks for the flowers.
Oh, yeah, happy
Those are
birthday.
adorable.
Oh,
Those are so cool.
all these little pansies are supposed to be a flower of friendship.
You can eat them
Maybe,
too.
yeah, it's just,
You could eat in the stir show.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, yes.
you put them on, I did a wedding, you put them on the cupcakes. I'll eat anything. No.
I believe that.
I do too. And she can find the food too.
And not gain weight.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
no, I, yeah, right. So have you called your meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for waiting for me. I just wanted to type up my notes to make sure I captured everything. I'm asking on behalf of HR and Finance for the payroll to be approved and paid from the county treasury that was issued on April 27th in the amount of $174,932.70 for a total payroll, including jail, in the amount of $234,457.45.
And the jails portion is what, 59?
$1,524.71.
So can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, so the jail portion is $59,524.71.
Ready moved and Amy
Second and,
second, accept.
Yeah.
All in favor?
yeah, and then
I
that's
have those
created a
typed up
warrant.
for
for
you
us.
too.
Yeah.
Thank you. That'll be big.
I also have a warrant for payables from the general fund, a warrant in the amount of $66,003.22. And for MCRR corrections, general fund, in the amount of $6,096.64. And I have this one down.
And I'll second that.
All in favor? Thank you.
Mark, where?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, I gave you everything. If you have any questions about Betty, by chance, has had an opportunity to look at and approve the checks that were part of the warrant.
I will initial where I've signed on the wrong line. You know, Bill started it.
Let's see.
This goes back to.
Yeah.
Oh,
We are all good. No, that's okay. I initialed it.
Okay,
big enough to when it doesn't.
And you would have signed this one.
Betty, if you can pass me back that first one, I just want to go through it for a second on, this is payables.
All set?
Yeah,
Who's that?
Thank you so much.
Amy's got one.
Yeah, I'll give this to you after. I just need to see if something, a couple things will pay.
So to go to personnel HR, we have our new finance director going to start on Monday, May 8th, 8 o'clock. And Amy and Betty have both been assisting and with the accounts payable pieces and approving, auditing. Matt, our prior finance director, did get the checks ready and got them printed. So that was great. And we have been organizing the office and getting things, I think, in a situation where the new finance director, Stephanie Cross, will be able to come in and have a better or more organized approach to the finance department. Barb has been pulling together some grant information, so, and the three of you have
I'm coming
selected
in
a
on
day to
Wednesday to
come in.
visit with her for
Yeah.
a few minutes.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be great. So I'm really excited about how the office is going to be set up for her to better get a flow of what we have for.
I am too.
Yeah, I am.
I hope so, and
So then, going right into from HR from me, I attended a training yesterday at Maine Municipal Association. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. It was presented by Bernstein Sure.
What was the training?
It was called Personnel Practices. They had it in person and in Zoom. I'm so glad I went in person. They had a couple hiccups with Zoom and I don't like missing information, so I like being there in person. But the room was full. There was a lot of participants online through Zoom, but it was so informative and reassuring on what I've been practicing in my past as HR in here. And I come back with some excellent tidbits to tighten up what you folks already are doing. It's great. And yeah, it was just perfect. They
Excellent.
have another all-day HR presentation specifically for county coming up in the end of June. No details really other than the date. It's the one they do annually and it's in Bangor. So I'm really looking forward to the agenda for that. They already have announced that a piece of that is going to be DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm really looking forward to that full day.
Super
Can
cool.
I have a motion to accept the finance director's report? We didn't do that.
Betty made the motion. I will second that.
All
Thank
in
you.
favor?
Yeah.
All right, then.
No,
Okay.
I'm so glad you thought of that. Thank you. And just as a reminder that I will be attending the HR convention next week and I have a plan for the payroll, so there shouldn't be a hiccup in getting that locked down with the current practice that I've been using. So I'm excited about that. And I even have better news to share that we have started getting funds from they call it the Maine MCCS Works Program, which I call the Alphon grant,
Okay.
but it's really called Maine
Remember that was when we
Community
could
College.
pay a portion of our.
Yeah.
So I've already submitted some and I'm getting it back. So I keep up the momentum. Any of the programs, as long as the department heads communicate with me, it seems to be pretty smooth. There's a lot of steps to it. You have to stay on top of it to get the full.
Could you give them, because I've seen the checks, but could you give my commissioners an example, like a training that you're attending or that the sheriff's department's attending and
Oh,
what
yes.
we got back? It's just kind of
Oh, I
helpful for them.
I didn't even think of that. I mean, giving you a total, I put it on my notes, but. So I submitted my HR convention next week and it was $845. So the first payment, once I fill it out correctly and submit it, I've already received, they will give me up to 50%, they will reimburse. They've already given me, I think it is like 80% of that 50. And then once I attend, and then I send in confirmation that I did attend and fill out a survey, they will send me the additional 20% of their share. So I've already gotten the first installment for mine. Course next week, I've already gotten the first portion for the Summit 2023 that Jason, our IT director, and our comm center director, Mike Lurvy, has gone to, which is great. And I've already received a portion of the trainings that the sheriff's department, they're sending 4 people to 3 classes coming up in May, this month. And I've already received portions of that. So I
Good,
can't, actually, I should have given you a total.
It really is, guys.
Yeah.
You know, when you start seeing the checks, it's like, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah, so I'd say if I had to guess, we've probably gotten about 2,200
Mhm.
back between all the training programs.
And remember, the DA was sending a bunch of staff,
Yeah, that's pending, that will be,
mhm.
I'm waiting on some details to fill in the blanks on that, because they are asking specific questions on how will it benefit the organization, how will it benefit the employee? What is some of the background of the employee, do they have a degree type of thing? The goal of the program is to help employees advance in their career and higher paying job.
Stay right on that
Yeah.
DA or Eric to get that information
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
No,
we
they're,
can
they're
get
so
that.
good, everyone has been really good about responding to.
No, this is
information.
exciting.
Yeah, oh, I think.
And with that, maybe we can afford more training that in years past we weren't able to.
Yeah, no, at least it helps. 50%.
Making good use of it.
Yes,
Yeah, I was skeptical. I
I
really
was,
was.
they're going to have a table at the convention next week as well, promoting, and when you go in as, once I've signed the compact and agreement, then I can see there's a lot of employers in Maine that are participating in that program, so that's wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
so
can
fun.
speak on behalf of us that you've actually,
Yeah,
it works and how it,
yeah, so now I'm just going to, hopefully tomorrow afternoon, I've designated a block of time to finish some of the processes for the funds we've already have, meaning I have to go in, confirm attendance, then it will kick out a survey to the employee has to fill out that survey. And then once those steps are done, they'll send me the additional 20%.
cool.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Oh, and that's all I have on behalf of finance and HR.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much.
I want to mention before we move on that they ran into, who's the gentleman I ran into in the office?
Oh, Thomas Kittredge, the
Thomas
economic development.
Kittredge.
Oh, my gosh, how is it?
He's doing great. He's good. And I said, Tom, you know, you gotta get on the ball and get interested in this building we're gonna sell, because Belfast one, they can make a deal. Do away with a lot of real estate commissions and whatnot. And the old Superior Court building there, you could build a causeway, not a causeway, but
Yeah, walkway.
walkway between the two. And he talked to me a few minutes about that. It seemed to be generating, I think, Bob, a little interest, do you think?
Actually, more than a little,
A
because.
little more than an interest,
I
so,
was gonna report to you that he actually sent an email to me late yesterday. I saw it this morning. I've got to reread it, but they would like to set up a meeting and talk.
Yeah.
The city manager is also interested, so.
so when in this conversation that we were having, he said, what would you ask for it? I said, well, we'd like to give Belfast a break. We could probably talk about something between 600,000 and 800,000.
The building, the current taxable, and remember, we don't pay tax.
Yeah,
But they've got the building assessed, the town does it, $1.2 million. Is what they say the value of it is. But I mean, I agree with you. If we could unload that
for
Between
6 or 8 or
six-
something.
between 6 and 8.
And I think we can, Amy. I think there's, like Bob in the email, there's some interest there, and we'll get a meeting generated and,
They'd like a tour of the building in the next.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so that's, and
Have you notified Chris of that?
No, because I needed to speak with you.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry.
we'll do it. We'll get that set up and, if we could move that in that price range, that'd be a great thing for us.
Right.
Great thing.
But it's also, I think, a very good asset and a plus to the city of Belfast because it's right there.
Yeah,
Their backyard, it's connected on, and remember, we still own, what is it, the chambers where the city council meets?
Where the.
Yes, actually, yes, where they hold their.
well,
Yeah.
like Bob says, they were, interest level is more than I expected, so that's a good thing, and he questioned me quite closely about when it would be available. I said late next fall would probably be a good time. We got a lot of work to do before we move the people.
But for the right price.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna say, we could make them work remotely sooner.
We'll rent a month.
That's right.
Well, it's a good chance to throw it out there because they're talking about this multi-complex and maybe they'll change their mind.
Right, and weren't they looking at behind the Belfast Firehouse?
Yeah,
I mean, I think you'll find there's only so much room there, anyway.
I don't see how they can keep going without expanding.
yeah.
Yeah. But like Bill said, this is right next door. They can build one of those. Open it, skyways.
Yeah, they keep them out of the rain and stuff, just run from one building to the other. Oh, Jason, are you enjoying the conversation?
I am. You know,
Sorry about that.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
You have-
Oh, I cut the end of it when I was making dinner the other night. So, you know, I got some lovely Saturn Band-Aids on it that I found. So, you know.
May the force be with you.
Yes, you as well. You as well. It is May the 4th. So, you
Well,
know,
yeah.
there we go.
I heard that on the radio this morning. I don't know what it means, but
Yeah.
I guess it's, yeah.
Since we last met, attended the Spillman conference. That was good, a little depressing and a little stressful at times, but good. Learned some things and some good things, some things coming down the pipe that are a little stressful, but good overall. Asked some questions, got some answers to things I liked, got some answers I didn't like, but you know, we'll deal with those as the time comes. One of the big things that big questions I had is there's a new law going into effect tentatively. That's why I brought my computer, because I wanted to get the right date here. July 1st of 2023, that requires law enforcement agencies to begin collecting demographic information about traffic stops. And we're still trying to figure out how we're going to handle that. That's one of the questions I had for other agencies, is how they're going to be handling that. The response I got from the other agencies in Maine that utilize Spillman is that they're going to be using a module of Spillman called Mobile, which allows them to enter this information in the vehicle. We don't currently have Mobile.
How much more is mobile?
Mobile, we got a quote for all of our agencies. We got a quote for 5 years is $90,000 for all
In total
agencies.
or five?
For 5 years, yes. And I've got it broken down by agency. I sat down for a few minutes after they gave us that quote. Needless to say. And my response was, okay. And I talked to Mike about it, because the other option really that we saw, I think, was, well, it's either that or the officers, you know, jot down this information in a notepad, put it into the system when they get back to the station or when they fill out their report, or they relay this information over the radio to the dispatchers. So I think we've got to sit down and figure out what's going to work best. And how we figure out how this workflow is going to work out best for us. There is also, I understand, a pushback on this law to push it back for a year, because it's my understanding, and I might get the other product that some Maine law enforcement agencies are using, I believe, is IMC.
Yep.
And it's my understanding, hearing third hand, that IMC has no way of recording this information currently.
Contact Somerset County.
Yeah,
They've had
and,
ISD for years.
Sheriff Trundy was saying that this is what the Maine Sheriff's Association is pushing back on it for, because they're saying that these other agencies currently have no way of reporting it. So they're trying to push back to get some more time.
So would it mean, like, Somerset, there's, I think, 2 or 3 counties that have that INC. So does that mean that the only way that they could capably gather this info is either to call it in over the air,
Yeah,
or they'd have to purchase Spillman? Is Spillman the only one that currently has created this? Because I'm looking to see if there's a monopoly here.
yeah. I know there are other products out there. I don't know if they've recorded it as, have this option to record it as well. My other thought process, and again, without having done any research, is probably these agencies with IMC or something would have to come up with a third-party solution. Whether that be, we're just going to keep an Excel spreadsheet or an access database of call number 123. This is the demographics information in it. We're going to keep it separate and then report it to the state at the end of the year that way. Or quarterly. I don't know.
I
But-
think when this ridiculous law was created by the powers that are wiser than I'll ever be, that it wasn't thought through, because at this point, let's look at the world and society today. So do they stop me and do they call in a, 59-year-old Caucasian female?
Yeah.
But what happens with the people that want to identify differently? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, and
so,
that's.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I just really think that, I think this was created to keep track of a demographics that perhaps isn't as broad in our area
And that's to me, I will say my opinion is the way I have read the law, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a police officer, is it's not even how you identify, it's how the officer perceives you. So it
so
is,
on a bad hair day.
it is the perceived race, color, ethnicity, gender,
That the officer sees.
perceived.
So how,
So
that's setting up a law enforcement person, as far as I'm concerned, that's setting somebody up. So what if in the summertime, I get like really dark because I've got some heritage, you know what I'm saying? So that's almost like setting someone up to be in a position of calling it wrong. I think this whole thing is just
I
stupid.
think it's terrible.
It
Yeah.
is, no, it really is, Bill.
This is micromanaging that.
But this is just terrible. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if we ever do it. Let them.
yeah, no, and I'm just letting you know what's out there and what we're supposed to be doing, so.
And it's a
um,
mandate, you
It
see.
is,
Which
and
again,
it's,
comes back to an article in our constitution that said, and this is a federal mandate. you
this is
see.
a state mandate. This is a state law.
So the state of Maine, I can pull this bill up in the state of Maine.
Yep, and I can send you a link to it.
Please do.
Yep.
Because if it's
Yep.
a mandate, then they have to be
Yes.
able to fund 80% of it. And you know, and I know, the state makes a lot of mandates.
And I
that they
did
never fund.
look, and again, I'm not familiar with what they have to fund and things like that. So I went out to the legislature.maine.gov.
Yep.
And I looked at the fiscal status.
What's the fiscal note on it?
So the fiscal note, and that's why I wanted to bring my laptop out, was the fiscal details and notes. And what it said is, the bill includes general funds appropriations for one planning and research associate to analyze and make recommendations. So it seems like they're funding someone at the state level to analyze
to
this
study
data,
what.
but nobody
we're supposed to-
below that for the counties or
Uh,
agencies to
But,
do that. You
and-
know what I mean? So it seems like it
oh,
stops
yeah, no,
there.
it's.
So I don't know what their requirements are and where that, so
If
that's
they
where I,
created a mandate, there's supposed to be funding
Yeah,
attached to it.
yeah, and I,
And what they're saying is, they're just gonna fund one person who works from the state who's supposed
Yes.
to take your information. Well, they can take everybody else's information.
Yeah,
Because I certainly wouldn't ask our offices to come up with this information.
yeah.
This is
So anyway, I will send you the link to that information and the bill on that.
Typical state.
But anyway, so that's something that's coming down the pipe. And again, it's, we're trying to figure out how to do it.
Just
what
don't.
The best way to do it
Is
is,
this bill, in the long run, calculated to enhance crime stops, you know what I mean?
No, Bill, it's just to be nosy and micromanage,
Yeah.
like you said. Yeah,
the way the bill is worded, and again, I'm just gonna read the wording of it, is, it's, and I'm trying to find it quickly here, so I don't waste your time, I apologize, is more or less, I believe it comes down to racial profiling of traffic stops to keep track of that data.
This is what it sounds like.
Well, yeah,
And
that's exactly
to
right.
keep track of that data so you can do the research on it later on.
It's just an interpretation,
My,
not actually.
I will give you my opinion if you want my opinion.
Yes, yes,
You can take data and construe it however you want.
Exactly.
You can take that data, I can, you can look at however much of that data you want to later on and zoom in on it and have it tell your story, or zoom out to have it tell your story. That's just my opinion. So anyway,
I agree.
But also the information that's put in may not be accurate, it may be some misimpression,
yes.
Well,
yes,
exactly.
right? And so, it opens up.
Yes, yeah,
But I also would never want to put any of our law enforcement in a position to guess, like, what, or put in their opinion of what a person's,
yeah, yeah.
is this bill passed already?
It has.
it sounds like it's passed,
It's
but there's
passed.
no funding attached to it. And again, I go back to Article like 23, and I might be off.
Yeah, no,
On
and I
our
don't know that, but-
Constitution that says no mandate that will fiscally cost a town or a county money can be forced on them by the legislature unless they're willing to fund 80%. Remember the schools?
Yeah, yeah,
So my point is, we don't do anything because they're not funding their portion of the mandate. All they're doing is hiring Joe Blow, giving him a job to
Yeah,
maybe analyze whatever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So anyway,
But I would be curious to see the bill, so I appreciate. what you
yes,
said.
yeah, I will send that off to you folks. So what I have asked is I have asked Spillman or Motorola. I said, before we do anything, I would like them to come up and do an in-person demo of mobile for all of our agencies. Free of charge. They flip the bill of travel and everything else like that, do an in-person demo for a day, maybe 2 days. Answer all the questions and just show us what this is gonna save us time on, what this is gonna do for us. Not, oh, you're gonna be able to write e-citations and all this stuff and everything, but what this is gonna save time on us for, what this is gonna, do for us for this $90,000 and all that sort of stuff before we do anything. And because I'm not the person in the vehicle, I'm not the one on the ground, that sort of stuff. I said, more or less justify this for us. And I'm waiting to hear back on that sort of thing. So I'm not, making any suggestions at this point.
So this Spillman or Motorola Mobile,
Yeah,
what else does it do?
it does. The thing that and obviously it's a sales pitch that they're giving me at the conference or the summit. But the things that I liked about it, and again, trying to take it as with a grain of salt as it is a sales pitch, is it will standardize reports. So it's more or less like a drop down. When you're doing a report, they're not having to type in everything freehand, so it'll save time on reports. They can dictate reports in the car, so they can just talk them, they're not typing them there. And the one thing that really, but again, I want to make sure that I understood it correctly, is when they do their report, it will be all done. So when they go to the reentry center to do an intake on someone, that will be all done. They don't have to redo it in the reentry center for an intake report. Where my understanding right now is when they go to the intake, right now, they have to redo that all at the jail. So that can take them 15 to 20 minutes to redo that. That would cut out that time for every booking process. So again, that's my interpretation of how they presented it to us.
I can't believe we're not doing something like that now.
But
You know
again,
what I mean? It's-
that's what I want to verify, because
Yeah.
again, I'm not the one doing that process.
I mean, some of this isn't even rocket science, and I'm not a technology person. but-
Exactly. So that's why I want to have the people that are actually doing it verify that, are we interpreting this correctly and that sort of thing? Is it going to save, is it going to save 5 minutes per process, 10 minutes per process? How many times do we do this per week, per year, that sort of thing? And let's actually look at the analytics of what it would actually save, sort of thing. So that's where I want to dig down into the numbers and see, does this actually make sense? So that's
I'm
my,
not very interested until we see some money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm not either, not even at all.
yeah, no, and I just wanted to do are you okay if we do get them to do a demo for free, no charge, no
If they wanna come down-
commitments, anything
I
like
don't
that?
have any problem.
Okay, all right, if you're okay with that, we'll move forward with that. There are some new CJIS requirements, which is Criminal Justice Information Systems from the FBI coming down for like security requirements, logins, and that sort of stuff. Those are coming out. They kind of previewed them for us, and I think those will come out in October of this year, but those aren't actually put into law yet or put into requirements, so we're waiting on those, but we'll see what those come out with. I have been working on trying to get some sample contracts from other counties as far as their PSAP agreements and their spillman agreements that they use with towns and other things like that. So working on that to see if we can get some examples drawn up for us and our agencies. That's pretty much all the spillman stuff. We've got the new finance director set up with an email address and a login, so she's all set to go on Monday. Set up some Zoom sessions for the DA, BWA interviews. We have one today. The EMA building, their new phone lines are being put in next Wednesday out there in Swanville, so those will be ready to go. I'm still waiting to hear about the internet connection with Consolidated. We moved the badge printer down here for Annette. I'm just waiting to get the laptop set up, but we're almost done with that piece, so she can get that set up and get it going. Working on training with Ray, we're getting that going pretty well, but still just, you know, bits and pieces here and there. Probate court, we're working on their reporting software, which is called For the Record. We're working on an update with that for them because they ran into an issue the other day, but we're going to update that, I think, tomorrow. So it should fix that for them and work on some training just because it's a big upgrade. Working with Chris on getting his new office set up and things like that and getting everything moved over so he has access to all of Keith's stuff. Getting the new cruisers set up as those come in and the new pump center employees. So, and then issues as they arise. So
What do you do in your spare time?
I just sit, twiddle my thumbs and, you know, watch the rain come down.
Wish there's been a lot of.
Talk
that
about the
now.
Celtics, you know, and that sort of stuff.
Say one last night.
You know, as a point of interest, I'd mentioned this morning about this new law, the law of license plates. That's how they caught the guy that was looking for, they escaped a couple of times.
Yeah,
License plate recognized the stolen car.
Yeah, the weasel, he was
Yeah.
a weasel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
It is
good.
cool.
It is,
yep,
it's working.
yeah,
Yep,
no, that
exactly.
is cool.
Yeah,
Now, can Ray do like the setups of like new employees or?
we're working on
Promoted
that process
employees
next.
or-
We're gonna get into that. Yeah, it was working on the Zoom stuff, working on new computers and stuff like that, and then we're gonna start on new
Oh.
employees and spillmen and stuff like that.
We
So,
can make Chris our first guinea pig on the.
yep. So yeah, working on that process. So yeah,
Thank you very, very much.
Yep.
Jason.
That's Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
yep. You're welcome. Any questions for me? Okay,
Thank you.
take my pile of stuff. I'll send you some links.
My phone.
Yes.
Can we
Skip
put you
me.
behind
Yes,
Chris?
absolutely.
Chris, welcome to
morning,
your
sir.
first report.
What are you gonna do this morning?
We are good. How are you today?
Oh. Doing all right.
Is donuts right nearby?
Yeah,
So,
help yourself.
Thank you. So, the first week's going pretty well.
Good.
Monday with Keith, we went into like a lot of depth as far as the budgeting goes. He showed me a spreadsheet and I was actually able to like do the spreadsheet with him, like when I
Okay.
sat in the chair kind of thing.
chance
Instead
to
of,
play with it.
yeah, instead of, looking over the shoulder kind of thing, more like sat down and able to put my hands on it. So that helped me understand a lot more. I think as far as like me coding the new bills and things like that, I got that down, like what goes where and things like that.
The CMP bills?
I haven't seen those yet.
That was my big, it was like, all of a sudden, it's like, there's 50 million CMP bills, you don't realize it. It's like,
And they're
Well,
all-
yeah, so
they're all
you'll-
different. You just
you'll
you tell
get
by
it.
the address, that's
Ah.
the trick that Keith's showing. And then it helps also with Keith because he was very organized. Me going through my computer, and going through all those files and trying to just get adjusted to how he did things because it works. obviously, and I want to try to adopt as much as I can. As his organization helps me, if that makes
No,
sense.
absolutely.
Keeping track of our own finances, he did pretty well with that, so I'm doing as best I can with my situation and learning. I signed up for I signed up for 4 classes this year. He sent me a list of classes and I went to the website to see what else they offered. So the ones I tried doing one a month, the best I could, but some months there were things that wouldn't be necessary for me to go.
Right.
It was like mining and things like that.
Which were-
So May 18th, it's a public sector compliance class. And it's basically like, because managerial kind of thing, how to report if, I think what, my understanding, if
Someone's injured.
someone's injured, things like that.
And that's through the Department of Labor, I
These
believe.
are all through the Department of Labor.
Yeah,
These
this
four
is
classes.
wonderful. So there's no cost to those.
And they're in Augusta, so I will be gone these days.
Just make sure you send us a,
Yep, absolutely. So May 18th is the first one. June 15th is developing and conducting assessments, audits, and inspections. So I think that will really help me as far as like looking at projects and being able to kind of decipher maybe a cost and things like that. Inspections, obviously, that's pretty important for my job. There was nothing for July or August, unfortunately. September 11th is work zone safety, pretty self-explanatory class, but it'd be good to have that done. And then there was nothing in October, November, but December 7th and 8th. It's a 2-day class. It's a 10-hour general industry standards training. So it's more like building standards in like electrical, things like that. So I get a more of a detailed understanding of those things. That's at least my interpretation of that. But I'm looking forward to these classes and learning a lot more and getting.
this is very awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's great, Chris.
Yeah, no, well done.
Thank you. As far as like the projects I've been working on this week, Thayer has been here a lot, working on the air exchange in the jail. He was here for a couple of days. As far as we know, I'm gonna go test it today. But he rewired a new starter in and everything, and I'm gonna go test the air exchange system in the jail today, make sure that works. He had to do new wiring too, so that took him all day yesterday. The doors for the new jail, they're coming in next month. Hammond called me yesterday, and they're coming in finally. I know Keith was working on it for a few months.
The doors for where?
The jail, there's doors, the sheriff, I believe.
Yeah, they do more room, right, Chris?
Yeah, because they've been getting a lot of people, my understanding, they've been getting a lot of people, so they're like turning a couple of day rooms into. To separate them from the reentry center
Yeah.
folks.
You judge you give it a small one.
So they're only there temporary, but they're not reentry center, so they
Okay.
can situate
Understood.
that. But that's coming in next month. So, and then today, I can't remember the company name, but they're looking at the PA system for the jail. And I just met with him before I got here, and he said that he definitely has some options. He's gonna send me a couple offers and we'll figure out that. As far as those have been my projects this week. That's what I've got so far.
Well, Chris, I got a project for you coming up.
I knew this was coming.
And it's an important project. You know the guy for the job. Here's the deal, Chris, we have some interest in the old Superior Court building
Okay,
from the city of Belfast.
Yep.
They want sometime in the next week or two, a neat tour of the building.
okay,
So this tour, Chris, it'd be well to speak about how grand this building is, how much we love it.
mhm,
We hate to vacate it because it's a solid built building.
Yeah.
One of the best in town, but avoid the negative comments, well, it's a money hole, it
Yeah.
flex up oil.
right.
Anything like that,
Okay,
but I think,
And then make an offer and you decide if you wanna do
Yeah.
it.
Look at this
It's right
nostalgic
there.
furnace.
yeah, every comment you make, Chris, try to make it into a positive comment
okay,
if you can.
okay,
And that's just initial thing, but I think you're the guy,
Yeah.
low key guy to take them through the building and show them every room.
okay,
Yeah,
And I also think it's a plus, and this is where you could refer back to like some of Keith's notes or whatever is. remember, we just redone all those offices that the DA staff is in just a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah, we redid those. Oop, somebody talking, was that me? You know, so that's also a lovely perk to point out, like, yeah,
Okay.
you know, but
Absolutely.
Barb, obviously, Barb will keep you very much in the loop.
Okay.
Thomas,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, Bob will help you arrange a time between them and
Absolutely.
meet, take them through, give them the 50-cent tour and see how it goes.
Okay.
I'll work with your schedule and see if we can find some.
Yeah.
dates.
They're expressing a little more interest than I thought they would. Chris, so I think they wanted, several of them want to come over for the tour, so
Okay.
you up for that?
Sure am. Yes, sir.
Well, I think you'll do a good job.
I do
and,
too.
All right.
You know,
Thank you. Now you said within the next week or so.
the next week or so, but
Okay.
you can coordinate this through Barbara. And either you can arrange a date that's convenient
Okay.
for both of you,
Absolutely. I can do that.
and we get that done.
Sounds good.
There's no commission that goes with it.
All right. Darn it.
Finder's fee, but maybe there's donuts, you never know,
All right.
but,
So sweet. Well, that's all I have, guys.
Well, thank you for the good
Very
report.
good.
Rick. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
thank you very
Nice to
much.
meet you guys again.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
Good
being,
day.
Thank you. You too.
appreciate you being on top of these buildings with all the rain and the water we've had. He's been right on top of the cellars and basements. and-
Yeah, everything's looking good. The jail, the jail's old building, so that always has a little.
Yeah, thanks.
It stays.
Expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Bob.
All right. First of all, I've been asked by Annette and Susan just to ask you folks to please frequently check your mailboxes because they're putting things in there that maybe you're not
Time
used to
sensitive.
finding, or maybe, yes, or maybe time sensitive.
I think I'm getting to look because I never have anything in mine.
Are you kidding me? Bill and I shove all that stuff in yours.
And if they tell me they've put something, of a sensitive nature or
Yeah.
time sensitive, I'll try to send you an email, but I'll also encourage them to do the same thing so that there's something you need. And maybe you would want them to scan it and send it. It depends on what it is. I'd like to revisit, I had back a few months ago sent you folks, and I've printed them again. Forms for organizations that are requesting funding.
Yes,
I know you folks, like I said, we've had a lot going on, so I wouldn't even expect you to know where those are, so I printed them out again. But if we could kind of maybe get those finalized, because we're approaching budget time, people start in May and June, start asking, and it would be great if we can go, here you go. So,
I thought,
put your names.
what's my memory? Didn't we have a form from Aroostook County?
Did that too.
And, okay.
Yeah, right on. Do you mind sending this down to Mr. Shuri and Commissioner Fowler? Thank you. So yes, please, because, and I do have that gentleman that came in to see me back with this, we didn't put the date on it, but it's been a couple of months. He's not contacted me, but kind of waiting to know how he would approach you folks, so. Speaking of approaching you folks, totally different matter. Susan,
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, before we move on, so. So Barb, according to this form right now, the only thing that makes me nervous, Bill Betty, is this form says that they're looking to get in our budget. It's not like it's a one-time donation or whatever. This puts them in our budget.
It's requesting to go on the budget, which I
Yeah.
think they should have the privilege of doing it.
Okay,
And then it's up to us, I believe, to hear them and then
okay, so,
say yes or no. We don't feel that this was a yearly budget item. Or thank you, thank you.
okay, so just so we're all clear on that, so you think we should,
Right,
okay,
yeah,
Bill?
I really do, because I don't think we should block out anybody asking for getting on the budget. Right, I think we have a responsibility to do it, or at least look at paperwork.
yeah, I buy Betty's idea.
Okay, no, I'm just
It's
making.
up to us to say no, yes.
Yeah,
But this is this way for Bob to give us a official paper for to start the process.
so I will make a motion that we adopt this created document. From Barb, so that when someone contact this office, she can give it out. I certainly wouldn't advertise.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right, yeah.
mean, but
But there will be people who will.
Do you want it, so you don't want it on your website? Someone should be calling the office
if
asking.
somebody calls, that's one thing.
Did anyone second that? I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Yeah, appreciate you typing this up. It
I
looks
think
nice.
I'll probably need to change the date.
Right,
Because it
yeah,
says May.
and I'm
31st.
sure you're adapted.
Yeah, for this year, I'll, if Teresa in a couple weeks, I'd like to have it early because if any of these things that come before you. We've got to get that line item in the budget.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah,
that involves a change in the finance end and in my end, so we have to have time for that. All right. Very
As I
good.
understand it, this is the way to fill out these last minute requests we have. We're on to see the commissioner. This, have you filled out this paper? If you haven't, that's the first step you have to do,
yeah,
right?
And
yeah.
if,
Because even though your towns and everything have a process of how to get on the budget. That doesn't mean they're gonna get on the budget, but they put in a request and. Usually the budget committee will hear it, in my town anyway. And they would decide and then go for the selectmen.
Yeah.
But that is to the budget.
Okay. No, I appreciate that.
You know, I think have a process, so it's not just, okay, they're never gonna listen to me and they're set on what they're giving and that's it, you know, I mean, it's not very comfortable for agencies and for things that are going on in the county that need help.
I recognize this does not address the occasional request for a donation.
Yeah, yeah. But it's.
I don't know
fall
if we
under the
need a
same-
separate form.
No, I give it, let's not
Start with. the
overwork the
zeros.
wheel. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Good.
but
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
thank you. I'll get that. I'll
Do we
finalize.
have a form also, did we make up a form about agencies or, you know, companies or whatever that want to get on our website for their particular agency? That would be a good thing to
I
have.
know we've been very careful about allowing outside sources
Right,
to advertise on our
That's
website.
what you
but
had
we
told me.
kind of have a policy, but I think if we had something that is out there, so that you don't have to keep answering that question.
So maybe develop just a short brief written policy.
Right.
Which that could be put on the website, so
Right.
people understand.
That could be,
Okay,
because
Yep.
that gets to be, you know, time consuming and.
Yes.
Annoying, really.
Yeah.
Because you have to read through the whole thing and then find out, oh, okay, they actually asking you know, people for money or to do this or do that. It's not just information about the agency. So I think that would be a wise thing to.
yep, that would be great. I'll work on that before your next course session.
Answer some of your questions.
Yes, that'd be very helpful. So next, if you're all set with that, I'll move on to the next thing. We had a gentleman in early April ask about being able to park at the reentry while using, I don't know if it was fishing or.
I already contacted him.
So this happens occasionally, and I've very rarely, but once in a while, I think I've run them through you, Commissioner Shore, because you know how, when there are people out of the garden, I mean, it might be a hazard. There's something else I wonder, do you want to have some kind of
Sign.
policy or sign about using that property for hunting, fishing, whatever people, you know what I mean? I don't know what.
Well, here's where we are. I will tell you about this instance, so. Dale Cross has been in charge of the hunting people that have permission to hunt. So we're very careful when we let hunters in. Yeah, because with no hunters are allowed when we're working there. And we have 2 blinds set up down over the hill. That's possible for bullets to come on. So That has worked out well, and I don't in general. When people ask me, I don't want a general policy,
Okay,
I'd like to say, you contact Dale Cross.
okay,
And he will tell you if it's permission to hunt on that day or not.
that's great. I just
Yeah,
needed a
yeah.
point of contact and someone who would be,
But that's
Keeping track
regarding
of all
hunting,
this.
right?
well, hunting, fishing, I mean, I don't know what else happens.
So I had a,
It is, you know, like the fishing is a different deal. The fishing, they can go into the property and go down the line, tree line, and launch the boats down, and at that place is a kind of a gravel launch or something rather, it's been there for years. We've always been fairly generous on letting to do that, and anyone that really wants to go that doesn't know the answer would stop in once in a while and we'd say, sure. You can enter your car over there, your pickup and drive down and launch your boat down there.
Okay, so they know where to park, because this, I guess, was what part of the question was, could they park their car for some sort of access for something?
Yeah, well,
She
they
hadn't written.
they can drive out, get it off the road. I mean, wherever they wanna park the car, we just don't want them. We'll probably have to spend a little time on
Yeah.
that, Bob, and get a detailed
Yeah,
route.
yeah,
that-
Right, because when the reentry really gets active there.
yeah, you've got folks that,
well, and an EMA out there.
Well,
Right, and
so here's-
EMA,
and I should have reached out to you, Bill. I had a gentleman that called me that. He was kayaking and he wanted to park his car, I don't recall the name, he wanted to park his car. On our property. Near one of the buildings and kayak from there. And I said, and where would your car remain? And his car would remain on our property. And I'll give you my knee-jerk response was no. And why? One, if somebody isn't there to say, yes, park right here, and we need access to the buildings or trucks coming in or out or whatever. Or we have residents that come in and out, you don't know if it's a drop for someone, do you know what I mean? And so I said to him, I said, so you kayak? And he said, yeah, and I said, where do you normally put it?
yeah, you started at the beginning.
And literally, he told me, oh, usually at the Swanville store.
Yeah,
And I said, then I'm going to ask you continue to do that, because I don't think it's good to have someone we don't know, we're not familiar with, strolling our property that, and leaving a vehicle or anything. I know that's granted, somebody hunting or fishing could walk in, but somebody kayaking could paddle in. I mean, I just worry that we're opening Pandora's box by letting these people just park there and walk their kayaks down, and I just,
Well, then
that
there's
makes-
liability, what if
We
a
will,
tractor hits it or something, you
we'll
know,
work on that and come up with a definite
yeah, think about it,
sign, because it's not been a problem up to now.
understood,
Yeah,
understood.
and as they see. more
Well, yeah.
open,
and I agree, I didn't mean to be a
No.
bad
no,
sport,
it's
but all I
about-
could think of is like,
Yeah.
you could put it in up at the Swanville store, why?
They don't
it's
wanna
more-
spend
it's-
that extra half an hour to get down to our
I've
place.
done that,
That's-
it's
that's why.
It's more open now, you know, so.
So listen to this, I got a phone call the other night from Ray Gibson. And Ray does my work at home on my ground and does also some work for the county. And he said, I see some guys going down with camouflage hunting the other night. And I said, yeah, Ray, there's a couple of blinds down there. They're going down to hunt turkeys. He said, well, I assumed that when you built the EMA out there, that would be the end of the hunting. And I said, well, that's not the right assumption. And we've always tried to be open to a discussion to help people use the property as long as it's not excessive and creating a nuisance for us.
I don't think. And we're being recorded. I don't think we wanna advertise out loud that we allow hunting on county property, do you know what I
We
mean?
never have.
Okay, no. Right, and we don't, we're not,
Mm-hmm.
there we go, we'll just not say that out loud.
Yeah,
I think the deal with Dale Cross is the best deal. They,
In the meantime.
yes,
Okay,
and he will arrange, time if he thinks it's. Should be done.
and but you folks will give
Yeah.
it more consideration.
We've always
Okay.
tried to, interpret the thing as they own part of the land, if you will. Because they're taxpayers, but we also have to run a farm. And run that, and that's our main function, running the farm, not hunting and fishing.
Correct. Understood. Thank you. Thanks for letting me bring that up, and I'll wait till you folks have had further time to think about that. Meanwhile, somebody calls, I'll have them call Dale Cross.
Dale Cross,
I'll
yeah,
make sure I have a current phone number for him.
Yeah.
I think I do. Next thing to ponder, we have some funds that are still left, and at least as far as I know, as of beginning of March, we had a little bit of funding left over from when you did the Brownsfield
Grant.
grant with the old jail.
Yep.
And, so that's still sitting there. And when that question came up, it led me to think, we had I don't want to use the word excuse, we had an arrangement through the Secretary of State that we didn't have to report for 5 years on the Congress Street Hill property condominium.
Yeah.
arrangement.
Yeah.
That ends this December. So that flagged me to look, and then I realized that your board members on the Congress Street Hill Property LLC, two of them aren't even working anymore. One was Owen Smith as the communications director, and the other one was Jeff Trafton. So
Didn't we sell that property?
you sold part of it. The condominiums had numbers, and part of that was sold to Mike Hurley.
Yeah,
He actually contacted me really early last year and left a message saying he'd like to discuss the possibility of dissolving the condominium arrangement. Don't know why he was thinking that, but that does beg the question, because I think this was supposed to be temporary.
it was just so that we could sell.
But I think to dissolve it, it would require some legal counsel, and they may tell you, no, don't, but we definitely need to do something with the funds. We need to change your board members. And I don't know if you would like me to research what we should do with this at this point, since
Can we
I
ask,
think it'd be
the
a good
abutter
idea.
asked the question.
yeah, can we ask Barb to get a hold of a lawyer and find out, can we get rid of it? Do we need it? Why do we keep it?
Yeah, because
How much is in the account? It's 1,000 something, isn't it?
2,000, hang right on. Oh goodness, sorry,
First,
right here, $2,915.56.
because quite frankly, we could pay for the lawyer out of that.
That's very possible. That's another question. What can we do with those?
Yeah, no, we'll pay for the lawyer to get the information to see if we've got to still keep that.
You used Andy Hamilton in the past, Eaton Peabody. Do you want me to, I think he's still there. It would be nice because
If
he's
he's
got
the
a
one that
memory.
set it
for
up,
being
would you-
trapped. Yeah,
He's the one that set it up, that would be good.
I'll eat that up $2,000.
Yeah, go on.
yeah,
all right. I will start that process so that we can at least
Yeah, yeah.
have an address before the end of the year.
Right.
Know what
Yeah.
we're doing. Okay, very good. The only other thing I have for you is we actually have minutes to approve. Susan did a nice job on the April 6th minutes.
She did an awesome job. She writes as much as you do.
That was no coaching from me, so.
Yeah, no, I'm
That's great.
teasing. I'm teasing. That's not a slam bar to me.
No, so it's
Uh,
great. It's great
yeah.
knowing somebody else. I can just hand that off if I need to, if I'm not gonna be
Yeah,
here
no.
or whatever. And then I did the April 20th because you needed the vote for the bank. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and I move that we approve.
yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Thank you.
Barb, when you said the bank, would you please tell people what you discovered with?
yes,
Bank of America.
sorry, yes, and then.
So after the nightmare, just
Send
listen.
you, meant to send you. It's
Bank
crazy.
of America.
Yeah, that's the credit cards that they won't let us cancel.
We have been jumping through
Yeah.
hoops. You especially, and the
Yeah.
form they sent you was, it was still giving us trouble. I remembered that these have been tied to our individual social security numbers, and I thought, I wonder if I can just cancel my own, and sure enough, that I can. So instead of fighting over the whole entire account.
Who has the
I would
authority of
suggest
the-
we send them back to the department head or whoever had the,
I certainly don't want to give them back the cards, but We
Oh,
need
we
to,
could send them the card
we
number.
need to send them a memo, we'll send them a picture of their card or whatever,
Yes,
because they
and
have
I
to turn
will-
back.
Yeah.
And I'll write up something
I
so
don't
they
even
know what
have
to
my
expect.
That, well,
I don't
No,
know.
no, you have the First National card. This
Yeah, I
was,
had the first name.
right, but these were the old ones that everybody had to turn in. to be
Betty, I
able to
think
use
yours
it.
is turned in.
I didn't turn in mine.
I think yours is turned in because we had borrowed yours to get the,
Line for the.
Yeah. So-
Amber card.
so Barb, let's get that done like today, because especially where you've done it with your own card, you can say to people,
This is what you're gonna be asked.
your card information, this is what you're gonna be asked, cancel it
Yes.
ASAP,
Yeah.
okay?
No, happy to do that. I
Thank
thought to
you.
myself, how stupid, and it was that easy, but.
No, you're absolutely right, dude, that is,
Yeah,
yeah,
but so if we can't attack it from the front, we'll just do it individually from the back and be done, right?
Well, while we're talking about banks. What are we gonna do if we have a rumor that our bank is in trouble? What would we do? Do we, like everybody else in the country,
pull your money.
pull your money?
Put it on the mattress.
And when you pull your money, that's why these banks are folding. It's because banks, once the word gets out,
They get scared.
they get a run and they go
Right.
drop down below the standards.
It's an old story, but
So I-
happens.
And
My thought, and I'm gonna tie something in with this, and you can tell me to just stop talking if you want, but the whole. Limits on the credit cards issue. I was asking a couple of the department heads. When, we were talking about grants and other things, and I said, so what did you do before? How come we're just having this problem now? And they said, well. Apparently, there, you know how we've had funds in more than one bank?
Yeah,
That might not be a bad idea.
No.
For those who really have to use credit cards to order a lot of expensive equipment, maybe you keep some funds in a different bank.
Well,
and
actually,
Another
we do.
credit card,
We still,
that.
we have accounts at Bangor Savings that have never been moved or touched. And we still have 3 small accounts at Camden National that haven't been,
I'm just thinking before we burn any bridges,
oh, yeah, no, agreed.
I don't know if that would require, but it's just a thought, because I think that's what was happening, is there was money in various funds to, and granted, Karen was aware of things and would pay them sooner, as soon as they
Yeah.
were coming in. But, that was just a thought, so.
Well, and it's funny you'd say that, because when I came into the office this morning, because remember, I came in Monday, I worked Monday, but I have a list. There's 3 particular bills, it's like I can't find where they've been paid. And one of them is the credit card, one of them is Wex.
Right.
Here we go again
That's
with
a
that.
big one.
I've not seen I just checked the warrant again.
Oh dear, okay.
So, and again, it comes back to the problem of. There's some that the bills go right to a particular assigned department. And then from there, they take their time and figure out what portion is theirs, then they send it elsewhere. And if that person that fills it out is away or on vacation or whatever, it might sit there for a week or 2. And then it goes to the next department, but I haven't seen the wax bill.
This may have been why Karen had certain things she said, I want them sent down immediately. And I often saw her when she would get them,
And-
she collected a number of
And
things.
no, and that's good, and again, I think, and I'll own this as a commissioner, you guys are welcome to join me, but I'll own it myself. We've gotten lax over the years, because at the end of the day, the commissioners are the fiscal managers of the county, correct? Ship
Right.
runs downhill and it hits us. And over the years, we've allowed people to sign contracts that aren't us. They're signing contracts, large hundreds of thousands of dollars, people, with absolutely no authority or backing to sign, and we've allowed it. We have. And
I don't think we've allowed any contract to be signed that large that we aren't aware of.
Yeah,
no, we're aware of, Bill, but
Well, that's our decision then, because we could stop it.
okay, but I'm just saying, so.
You agree, Betty?
So as long as you're aware and there's a vote or
I,
something.
yeah, I
like that.
guess, yeah, but this, as, like I said, this is where I see the problem comes to, is because. I
Well,
mean,
let's go back, Amy, let's go back a ways. I thought we had a letter sent to Wax saying to send the bills to us.
And I explained that I contacted WEX, but because I was nobody and had no authority, even though I would make sure we send a check, that it had to be the person that opened the account.
Well, we
And that was the
we
sheriff's department.
changed that authority. We give you the authority to have that address changed.
And I,
We made a motion to.
and I don't know if we made a motion on it. but-
Yes, we did.
We did.
Yeah,
we
I
did.
hope so. So as I say, I don't, I will reach out to them again.
Cause you, right now, you were the authority to do that.
Hmm.
You know, and we gave it to you the last time.
Okay, that's good. I'll pull up
Yeah.
the minutes on that.
And that's why
so I
I
have
worry
it.
about, because and again, I know everyone is just trying to develop a system.
Mm.
And we just didn't know how much Karen knew. I mean, we knew she knew a lot, but boy. I am just wondering, things that we get interest, penalized, slapped with.
That's
tires.
right.
She wanted everything down. She would match it together. Because she could see when it was getting time for a warrant and she was paying what was there, what she'd gotten.
Oh.
And so we were not having these problems with late payments and things. So I'm just wondering if we need to go back to that.
No,
But
I agree.
we
So-
had someone for 19 years.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
No, I
yeah,
know, I know, and we
Don't-
didn't, we
don't
didn't.
change
know
that.
in our workings.
Yeah.
All the other-
No, we completely agree with you. So how do we make it happen?
I
For me,
I think you have a discussion with your finance people sooner than later and explain this is.
Well, first of all, finance people technically is one person. It's just shit luck that we have the most extraordinary staff, and that's
I
a
know,
fact.
It's incredible how.
None of
everyone's
you
pulled
Our
together.
finance, and nor should you have to be, and it is greatly appreciated what everybody's doing. But when I have, there are people in that office right now that are doing deposits,
Yeah, I know.
above and beyond.
I don't think we can avoid where we are right now, and I
No,
think it's
no, I don't
incredible the work that's been done.
well,
So
you all
coming
would
in-
be happy to know that certain department heads think we don't know what the hell we're doing.
No, Bill, trust me, I've heard from them. I really have, over and over. But I will reach out on that web, because I've got it wrote right down here. This morning, I thought, oh my God, where's that wax bill? Oh my God. But nope, you're right.
I'm just throwing out there. I'm not a finance person. I'm just trying to remember why Karen's system worked.
Because Karen was extraordinary, and
Yes.
like Phil said, 19 years.
Yeah,
The program.
Yep.
To myself and others is an old antiquated system. Everybody says so. But God bless Karen, that's what she had and what she grew up with. And I'm sure to her, it was a phenomenal system.
and she supplemented. it
And
with
that's
some
right, and she knew how to do it.
Right. right. No, that's
To
true.
myself or anybody else, it's just like, good Lord.
Yeah. And she spoiled us by making her vacations work around warrants and other things.
No, she
so
did.
She really did. So anyway,
And we
Thank you
made,
for listening.
let's face it, we made a couple of bad judgments.
Happens, Happens.
When they have bad judgments, they have to be corrected.
yeah,
So we get rid of that person,
yeah.
moved on to the next one. The
Yeah.
next one didn't turn out. But then that one,
Being recorded,
it's.
being recorded.
well, that's,
Anytime you hire someone, handle for both sides.
Well,
That's
and I
just the
think,
way it is.
I think you expect change because people do things differently and whatever, but. As I say, it's a different animal when you're sitting there.
And it-
That's for sure.
not only that, it opens up things that, somebody zeroes in on that has been kind of overlooked, or not thought was overly important, and that person thinks it is, so.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're gonna always have that.
I was telling Bob, a couple of days ago. Happened to be in there with talking to the Belfast guy. I said, I'd like to go back to the system that Karen had, as far as the garden is concerned. Karen used to keep a file from the bills from the garden. He would send me an email once in a while, stop into the office and the way I need these initials, and I would do it. Now, the bills come in, Dale doesn't know where to go, because he goes to HR, and HR has a big they don't know where to go. But all that could be solved just by putting them in a file and sending me a simple email once a week if needs something needs to be
Yeah, and that's what I think is gonna happen from now on. There, that's
Yeah.
why you came in and the new folders.
And one of the things.
I mean,
too,
the bills.
You know, sometimes more, things that are on the warrant, need to be paid earlier than that. Karen always notified me to get my permission,
Yeah,
paying that bill. And I would give that permission.
Sharon wouldn't let a bill from the garden through the house, and no matter what the price, until someone initialed it.
Right,
So it worked out well for years.
so,
We'll get there.
and, you know,
And like we were talking about money, I'd like to bring up something else. I think we're getting very close to the point, not this year, but next year. I think the sheriff is sending signals that, like I hear in conversations with him, well, I don't see deputies that are gardeners. You know, like a polite way of saying, I want to get out of this, hire a guy for the garden. And well, maybe we should put in the budget, a person for the garden. Well, I didn't come back and say anything. I could have said, that's a good idea, let's keep taking part of the CCA money to do that.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because, if they're not interested in playing there anymore, then we'll lose that funding, because the whole purpose of the CCA funding is the programming would be.
Yeah,
The programming that our residents learn from it, and so on and so forth. It's extraordinary. Everything from sowing the earth to operating the machinery. It's incredible, and they're apt to lose money themselves if they try to detach
and
too
it
much.
shouldn't be any reason why we couldn't hire an overseer. Right?
no, but there shouldn't be any reason, Betty, why we couldn't hire an overseer. But there's a lot of reasons that he should be paid out of the CCA money.
Oh, it would have to be.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right, because, let's face it, you've been the overseer, all the time here, and, you're not gonna be here for.
yeah.
What? She's killing us off, Bill. Good Lord. So just to recap, because I'm excited about this whole credit card thing. Barb, you promised today you're gonna send out, I don't even care what that email sounds like. Here's a picture of your credit card front and back. These are the questions they're gonna ask you. Get it canceled as of today. Boom. And then,
Well,
and
it's ASAP.
then I'm sure they gave you a confirmation number when you canceled it.
No, they're gonna send one, and I'm gonna tell folks, do ask for that. to be
Yeah, a
sent.
confirmation number,
Yeah.
because ASAP, because it,
It's the
so
only way to get
remember you
started.
had to finally give permission to the finance to have the authority to speak with Bank of America. They need a copy of the minutes and the motion and everything else. And then they sent us this paperwork to fill out where they want all, quite frankly, I wouldn't fill it out. They wanted like confidential personal information for myself. And it's
Yeah,
like, I just want to cancel the cards, and that has nothing to do, it was really weird. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I just
because-
hope I'm not that isn't some piece, because I don't know about it. I don't know about this
Let's
stuff.
try it.
I mean, if it was that easy for you to cancel it.
An idiot like me could do it.
For us, to cancel it, because it's doing personal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about the main account. I know nothing about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that number is. Maybe there really is none, but at
But
least we're gonna
If
stop.
there's no
having
little
payments
ones,
on-
then.
Yes, it doesn't really.
Well, I mean,
matter.
I know I had a paper and some Apple thing on mine. It was a reoccurring, and I called and canceled both of those
You
on
told
my
them
own.
to stop, yeah, I have to follow up to
But,
make sure indeed.
And I
those
know
they can't
Annette
use
has taken Indeed and put it on her card as HR, because she's the one that advertises.
I'll double check with her, because it
Yeah.
had been the county
Yeah.
office cards was being used, and they won't be
Yeah.
able to do that now that it's canceled, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
double check.
No,
on
so
that.
but I think she took that one, but, okay.
All right, well, let's do this, and at least
Yeah.
we stop things being paid on,
Yeah.
if nothing else, so there we go. That's all I have for you, thank you.
Okay, one other thing that I do want to bring up, so we have two new employees that are very visible to the public. One of them is Chris, our facilities, and one of them's Ray. And I've seen Jason with logo stuff from the SO and I think the county, and I was like, where'd they get this stuff? And it's like, there's nothing in our office that has logo, you know what I mean? And I think under our office supplies or whatever, I'd like to see us get, whether it's a jacket. Keith had a couple of the logo, like baseball caps, the county logo. That he gave Chris one, and Chris, I think, was gonna give Ray one, because I see him in ball caps. But I'd like to,
They have the pins.
I'd like to see
Buttons.
this office, the sheriff's department, the comm center, everybody else, they all have their logo stuff. And this does it. I'd like to at least see Chris, especially where he's in the public, he's meeting with public figures or whether we get him a couple shirts or a windbreaker or something with logo. And I'd even.
Let's get him a couple of shirts or something that. We have a lot of people,
I mean, he's going to meetings
Yeah.
and everything else, and I want this. You know, I mean, I think it looks professional, and Susan went and did her homework and reached out to, I'm not sure if she reached out to Jason or the sheriff's department, and they got him the information, and they already have our logo on file, but I just thought we need to do something, especially for those guys, and you know, maybe, I mean, does your jacket have a logo on it?
no,
Exactly. You know, do you have a jacket with a logo, just by, you know, so I think let's get a little more spiffy, professional.
Yeah, there's a bag.
So do you want to specify positions or, because I know you said this office, but facilities is its own office. The IT tech, that's a different department too, so I don't know if you want to.
Well, I know Jace has logo. I don't know where he got his from, but no, I don't wish to be any more specific than that. I just think that Chris is a new kid, especially the meetings he's going to, we're sending him to meet with the city of Belfast, but want this, you know, want them to be represented and professional looking, and I guess I'm just saying out loud that we've got some funds in there, and we've got the logo, and Susan did her homework, and I think we should order a few things.
I think you did a pretty good job this morning. You know, we had talked about classes and,
I was very pleased.
Yeah.
All on his own, all on his own. And with all that flooding and everything that we had on Monday, Johnny on the spot right in here, checking cellars and keep an eye on stuff, and so.
So this is gonna be paid from what line?
I'm either thinking office supplies or because I don't
From
have,
the commissioners? Boy, that was bare bones.
I would say,
I don't know, a source to be found or whatever, I guess, just put it as basic as you can for now, because I had asked for a year to date, but we still don't have a year to date.
reserve that is missing.
It's certainly not going to be, you know, hundreds of thousands, but you know, as I say, it's when every other department has that.
I'd like to swing back around to the conversation we had on this farm manager. I think we ought to peddle the story. Yes, we're interested in a farm manager. We were also interested in about half of the CCA money coming in to support the manager of the garden. We're talking about $100,000.
Easily,
And you know what the budget committee will do with that?
I don't know. I don't know. But now here's my thing, so, okay, so as long as it continues to be tethered with the CCA money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, but they still have to continue to supply assistance, like residents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the program.
Yeah, I guess I'd say we're feeling it out, and kicking it around, I wouldn't let them off. the
What we're
hook.
doing is, the overseer, manager, will be paid, a salary. Where right now, we're not paying a salary. So that's wrong.
Well, you know, like in the garden, I think we will find if you're going back in history, because I'm not sure of this, but I think you will find Walker's time at the garden, a lot of it is time and a half.
It is,
Right,
any of it was.
Imagine how much money that is and what he makes.
right.
And I was extremely surprised, kind of criticizing the sheriff a little bit. This morning that when he put Walker on paid leave, that he didn't call and tell me, because nobody told me, nobody told me Walker was missing. The thing was supposed to run itself with no information. Until I found out that, and then I got on it and got Dale Cross lined up to do a lot of traffic.
Thank God, thank
Yeah,
God.
Dale loves to do that work, so he's gonna go do the tractor work, so this deal I'm talking about would work out because all the guy would do that comes out with them, if we change the system, is be around them when they pick stuff, I guess. When a farm manager supervised what needed to be picked. I know do that now, but there's many times that with Captain Walker, before he learned, it was hard for him to determine when to pick and not to pick.
Right, yeah, the manager would, ordering,
Yeah.
all that stuff and also, know when things.
Yeah.
And get that organized for when it goes in, when it comes out,
Yeah,
that's what you're paying for. It's not to supervise, the re-entry guys.
it's not a simple job to do that. It's,
Oh, my goodness, no, no, not at all.
takes a lot of time.
But as I say, it still requires
Right.
100% effort on the part of the reentry and.
Yeah.
The residents there. Cause that is the whole selling point with the state with those products.
I
those
think
programs.
the whole selling point with the entry guy would be to train them how to do something to benefit themselves and also to benefit people that are hungry.
No, absolutely, that's exactly it, Bill, you nailed it, but it teaches them the process from the step one of sowing the earth.
Yeah,
To planting the seeds, to harvesting the
Yeah.
seeds, the empathy of giving back to the community
Yeah.
and to the people, and what they learn on their own, to be able to sustain, on their own. It's awesome.
like I had a guy yesterday morning. We had to pick up the trimmings from the trees when we have a fry prune them for us.
Oh, yep,
We had 5 wheeler loads of trimmings to pick up.
Wow.
She did a wonderful job, so told the guys, I said, I need one guy to ride it down. Gotta get a couple of trees down the corner there you don't know about. Get that, so the guy got in. And Gator with me and riding along, I said, how you doing? Doing pretty good, and I said, how long will you be with us? And he said, well, Friday's my last day. And I said, really? I said, yeah, he said, I get out Friday night at midnight or Saturday morning at 5 o'clock. That's the times that they'll let me go. And he said, well, I said, how you gonna do? And he said, well, I said, have we helped you a little? He said, well, I'm not going to go back. I've been in jail twice. I've had my fill of jails. I'm not gonna go back to that, so I finally figured out I gotta change my friends. And he said, I'm gonna do that. So that was a good example of what we're doing and how it's doing.
yeah,
And Ray Porter has always been supportive anytime I've had to
So
have people is more than helpful in getting a crew together on short notice.
So do you think that we should make some type of motion that we will pursue or look into hiring a farm manager?
I don't think we need a motion, but I think it's good that we both indicated to Bill that we think that that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
But I think all of the funding,
I
like
think
Bill said, needs.
very well, a lot will depend on the certain situation we have now, how that comes out.
Right, what I was wondering though is, that this is something that we're going to look into. So it doesn't get
Yeah,
off to the
Yeah.
side here. By making a motion that
Yeah.
it takes action to look into. This type of thing.
yeah,
Because it is, in some ways changing the way we operate now, with the garden.
yeah,
And so that, let's face it, last year was not very good. A lot of stuff went to waste.
well, there's no.
It all-
Very good, Betty, it was horrible,
So we know that we need to do something.
yeah,
So, this, this makes it then, this is on our plate now, we need to look into this, not just have talked about it.
yeah. We either look into it or we'll lose it.
So Betty, is
So
that a
that's why-
motion that,
Yes.
is that a motion that you direct Commissioner Shorey to look into further, the idea of a garden manager that would be funded from the CCA funding?
Yes, and.
Did you get that, Barb?
To direct,
There's,
seconding to direct Commissioner Shorey to look into.
Continue,
Thank you, Wade, to get that.
to continue
Look
to
into,
look into
create-
hiring a full-time garden
garden manager,
Yeah.
manager.
you can say full-time, but.
Well, yeah, you don't have to
hiring
say
a
full-time.
garden,
Yeah.
Yeah.
creating a position and hiring a garden.
Manager to be funded and paid for from the CCA.
Let's slip that through the minutes and see how it
That's
rides.
right. No, we need to get that in there, because
Yeah.
if he thinks that, because what he's thinking is he's gonna have all that
Yeah.
CCA money for himself, well, guess what, buddy?
And it's Community Corrections Act, is that what that CCA
Just
stands
just
for?
put CCA money, well, no.
Yeah.
Because it's
All right.
technically how you call that.
This needs a vote.
Betty made a motion, I seconded.
Did you want her to read it back to me?
To direct Commissioner Shorey to look into creating a position and hiring a garden manager to be paid from community correction funds.
Yes.
And when, and you have no time frame.
I mean, I'll get something next year, probably.
Yeah.
assume
Right.
It's a long term,
Do,
Project.
do that research and come back with, research about the ability
Yeah.
or not about the ability. And what it would take, to do in a time.
Yeah.
Then when you report back.
I can't do anything. If it report back to you before the deal is kind of,
Yeah, I mean, it's on your time,
yeah,
okay?
Report back at a later date.
Yeah.
Okay. Want me to read it again?
yeah,
I don't know.
That's my motion.
Okay, to direct Commissioner Shorey to research creating a position and hire of garden manager to be paid from community corrections funds and to report back at a later date.
Yeah, yep, I love it.
I love to see the expression on someone's face when they read that.
Right.
I know, 'cause we're
all in
just-
favor?
Hi.
Thank you.
Who are the, I can't tell who's on our Zoom, that really makes me crazy. But anyway,
So does that
Barb,
about
the
do
line
it for
for
us?
the logo stuff, I was just looking on a couple old things, we can either do professional services. If you desperately need something. To put it under.
Yeah.
Just to start there.
That makes sense.
Well, I think that's a good idea to have people. Like the guy have a jacket or something, or a hat, or something that identifies.
Well, what made me think of it is, I can't remember, Jace was down here one day and I think he had a nice logo, but I don't remember, I don't know if you're hearing me, Jace, I don't remember if it was the sheriff's department. I know it was our logo, because I was like, where'd you get our logo? And then as I said, Chris was in the other day and he had a ball cap on, I mean, good, but I thought to myself, no, this kid needs to be, professional.
Yeah,
And so,
I mean, you can say a jacket, but in the summer, you're not gonna wear a jacket.
no,
well, I'll show you, there's a catalog in there that we pulled up and Susan did her homework, because she's looked at another agency and everything else, and it's like, yeah,
Time we had a piece of donut, Betty.
there we go. If
I really
there's,
have to take mine home because I.
if there's nothing
cut
further,
mine into pieces.
Barb, do you have
There's
anything?
no vote on that, right? It's just, you mentioned that there's a few employees who are visible to the public, and we felt it would be important to have some sort of clothing such as shirts or jackets with the county logo on them.
Yeah, yeah,
And these will be paid from Commissioners Professional Services.
as other departments do, yeah, yeah,
So
Okay.
we'll leave it to you to tell us who and all that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's all on tape.
yeah.
Oh, that is a vote?
I don't know, I
Yeah,
guess.
that is the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right.
Sure. Yeah, keep us,
Are you being directed to?
yeah, really, keep this in line, sure, I'll
You're
redirect it.
you're directed.
Keep us in line, Betty, see what happens? Good gods. Betty, before you leave. Take a look at the catalog in there, anyway.
Okay, so I'm
Um,
assuming I'm gonna be, I directed you.
No, I'm saying for yourself. For yourself. Like if there's a windbreaker or something like that. You don't have anything, you represent.
Is there anything else to come forward the board?
No, I need another donut.
We adjourn.
Uh,
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Yeah. We're adjourned.